I never thought I would find myself in a situation like this at 27 years old. My life has always felt pretty normal, with the usual ups and downs. But I recently discovered something so shocking that it turned my entire world upside down. My best friend, Alex, who is also 27, is actually my half-brother. I still can't wrap my head around it. How did my parents keep this from me? I feel betrayed, confused, and lost. Growing up, I was your typical girl next door. My parents, Linda and Tom, were loving, attentive, and provided me with a warm home filled with laughter. I had a close-knit family and a few good friends, but Alex was the one who stood out. We met in kindergarten at 5 years old, bonded over our shared love for adventure, and quickly became inseparable. Our friendship only deepened as we grew older, becoming a cornerstone of my life. Alex was everything I admired: adventurous, funny, and fiercely loyal. We navigated the trials of adolescence together, from heartaches to triumphs. I often wondered how I got so lucky to have a friend like him. Little did I know that my seemingly idyllic life held secrets that would soon unravel everything I thought I knew. Throughout high school, I noticed strange interactions between my parents and Alex's mom, Rebecca. They would exchange glances that seemed to carry unspoken words. Whenever I asked about it, they would deflect my questions, leaving me with an unsettling feeling. But I never pressed too hard. I valued my parents' privacy and trusted them to share what they thought was necessary. Fast forward to college, where Alex and I chose to attend the same university. Our bond only grew stronger, and we shared countless late-night study sessions, coffee runs, and even the occasional trip to the local arcade. Life felt perfect until graduation day loomed on the horizon, bringing with it a strange sense of impending change. The day of our graduation at 22 years old was bittersweet. My parents beamed with pride as they watched me walk across the stage to receive my diploma. I glanced over at Alex, who was grinning ear to ear, cheering me on. But something about the way my mom was looking at Rebecca set off alarm bells in my head. They exchanged a quick glance, almost as if they were sharing a secret. I shrugged it off, convinced it was just the anxiety of the day. After graduation, things took a strange turn when I received a letter from a law firm. It felt like a scene from a movie. The envelope was plain, but the weight of it felt significant. As I opened it, confusion washed over me. The letter stated I was entitled to a family trust fund, an inheritance that I had never heard of before. Questions flooded my mind. Why was I receiving this now? What was this trust fund about? With a mix of excitement and anxiety, I approached my parents. As I laid the letter on the table, their reactions were immediate and alarming. My father, Tom, turned pale, and my mother, Linda, had tears in her eyes. I felt my heart race as dread seeped into my bones. Whatever this was about, it was not good. My mother finally spoke, her voice trembling as she struggled to find the right words. She revealed that my father had a relationship with another woman before marrying her, Rebecca, Alex's mother. Suddenly, the pieces of a puzzle I never knew existed began to fall into place. My mind raced as I processed what that meant. Alex and I were half-siblings. I felt like the ground had been pulled from beneath me. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. How could my parents keep such a monumental secret? My entire life flashed before my eyes. The laughter, the shared memories, were they all tainted by this hidden truth? The betrayal cut deep, and I felt lost in a sea of confusion and hurt. The initial shock faded into a storm of emotions. I needed to talk to Alex. But how could I tell him that the person who had been my confidant for years was now my half-brother? I sent him a text asking to meet. I needed answers, and I needed to know how he felt about all of this. As I sat in my room waiting for him to arrive, I felt a whirlwind of emotions: anger, confusion, and a deep sense of betrayal. The laughter and carefree moments we had shared felt like a distant memory, now overshadowed by this new reality. When Alex arrived, I could see the worry etched on his face. We met at our usual cafe, the familiar ambience now feeling foreign. The chatter of other patrons faded into the background as I focused on the storm brewing inside me. I took a deep breath, preparing to confront the truth. As I explained everything, how I received the letter, what my parents had revealed, and the shocking conclusion that we were siblings, I watched as his face morphed from confusion to disbelief. Alex's world, too, began to unravel. The hurt in his eyes mirrored my own, and I could see the pain of betrayal etched on his face. All those years we had spent together suddenly felt tainted by a secret we had never known. The realization that our lives had been intertwined in ways we couldn't have imagined hung heavy between us. Over the next few days, I pulled away from everyone, including Alex. I felt a need to retreat into myself, overwhelmed by the implications of what this meant for our relationship. The unbreakable bond we once shared felt fragile, as if a glass wall now separated us. We tried to reconnect, but the weight of our shared history loomed heavily in the air. I decided to confront Alex's mother, Rebecca. I needed answers, and if anyone could shed light on the tangled web of our family history, it would be her. The thought of facing her filled me with anxiety, but I knew I had to do it. I needed to understand why they had kept this from us. Meeting her felt like stepping into a minefield. I felt a swirl of emotions, anger, sadness, and confusion. She looked older than I remembered, her eyes filled with sorrow as she welcomed me into her home. The air was thick with unspoken words as I took a seat, the weight of my questions heavy on my shoulders. I poured my heart out, expressing the whirlwind of emotions I had been grappling with since the revelation. The betrayal was palpable, and I struggled to contain my tears. How could she have kept this from me? How could she have let us grow up together, sharing everything, without revealing such a significant truth? Her explanation did little to soothe my heartache. She spoke of complicated relationships, of choices made in the name of love and protection, and the fear of shattering the lives we had built. I could see the regret in her eyes, but it didn't change the fact that we were left with a shattered reality. As days turned into weeks, I struggled to rebuild my relationship with Alex. The unbreakable bond we once shared felt fragile, as if a glass wall now separated us. We tried to reconnect, but the weight of our shared history loomed heavily in the air. Despite the distance, I found comfort in the memories we had created together. I reminisced about the countless late-night talks, the adventures we had shared, and the support we offered each other through tough times. But now, those memories were marred by the truth of our blood relation, making it impossible to view them the same way. I started to realize that our friendship had always been more than just friendship. The depth of our connection had roots deeper than either of us understood. But could we navigate this new territory without losing what we once had? The prospect felt daunting, but I clung to the hope that love could conquer the chaos of our revelations. One evening, I decided to reach out to my parents again. I needed to confront them, to ask them why they hadn't been honest. I gathered my courage and confronted them about the years of deception. My mother's eyes filled with tears as she struggled to find the right words. She spoke of fear, love, and the desire to protect us both from a complicated truth. But the more she spoke, the more hurt I felt. I could see the pain etched on her face, yet it didn't excuse the deception. I had a right to know the truth about my family, and I felt like they had stolen that from me. The revelation had shattered my trust, leaving me grappling with anger and disappointment. In the aftermath of my conversations with my parents, I decided to take a break from everything and go for a long walk. I wandered through the familiar streets of my hometown, retracing the steps of my childhood. I thought about my relationship with Alex and the memories we had created together. I found solace in the familiar sights, the memories that had once brought me joy now felt bittersweet. The more I walked, the clearer my thoughts became. I couldn't change the past, but I could choose how to move forward. Alex was still my best friend, and although we were half-siblings, I believed our bond was worth salvaging. We had shared so much love and laughter, I couldn't let a secret ruin our relationship. I reached out to Alex, suggesting we meet at our favorite spot, a small park nestled between our neighborhoods. It felt like a safe space, a place where we could reconnect without the weight of our revelations suffocating us. The sun was setting as I arrived, casting a warm glow over the park. I sat on a bench, my heart racing as I waited for him to arrive. The memories of laughter and shared secrets flooded back, mingling with the uncertainty of what lay ahead. When Alex finally approached, I felt a rush of emotions, a mix of relief and anxiety washed over me. The conversation that followed was slow and tentative. We discussed our feelings, our fears, and the challenges we faced as we navigated this new reality. There were moments of silence, but we also found laughter amid the tension. Slowly, we began to rebuild the connection that had been strained but not broken. Over the next few weeks, we made a conscious effort to reconnect. We engaged in activities we loved, revisiting old haunts and sharing stories that reminded us of our shared history. While the new family dynamics weighed heavily on us, we also found comfort in the fact that we could still be there for one another. Our friendship evolved into a deeper bond, one built on understanding and resilience. We realized that being half-siblings didn't erase the love we had for one another. In many ways, it strengthened our connection, as we learned to navigate the complexities of our relationship together. As we forged a new path, I discovered that I was not alone in this journey. Alex shared his own struggles, his feelings of betrayal and confusion. Together, we faced the weight of our shared past while embracing the promise of our future. My parents slowly came to terms with the new dynamic. They expressed remorse for their choices, but I began to understand that their intentions had stemmed from a place of love. The road to healing would be long, but with time, we could find a way to rebuild trust and connection. Family gatherings became an exercise in navigating our new reality. We all tried to be present for one another, acknowledging the weight of the secrets while focusing on the love that had brought us together. It wasn't easy, and the tension was palpable at times, but we were determined to move forward. Through it all, I learned valuable lessons about love, family, and resilience. The betrayal I felt was real, but it didn't have to define our relationships. Instead, it became a catalyst for growth and understanding. I began to appreciate the beauty of the connections we had. As the months passed, I found comfort in knowing that family isn't just about blood, it's about the bonds we forge and the love we share. I looked at Alex with renewed appreciation. He was still my best friend, my confidant, and now my brother. Our friendship flourished as we embraced our unique bond. We created new memories together, celebrating milestones and supporting one another through life's challenges. The laughter returned, and while there were still moments of sadness, we learned to lean on each other. I began to forge a new identity that included both my biological family and the friendships I had built. I embraced the complexity of my family dynamic, recognizing that it didn't have to be a burden. Instead, it could be a source of strength. The journey was far from perfect, but it was ours. I found peace in the knowledge that I had faced adversity and emerged stronger. As I looked to the future, I felt a renewed sense of hope and a commitment to nurturing the relationships that mattered most. In the end, I realized that the truth, no matter how painful, could lead to growth and healing. I had discovered the complexities of love and family, and while the path was uncertain, I was ready to embrace whatever came next with Alex by my side.